Hey everyone, how you doing? It's SamyCaps. Oh my god, what a reveal. We just finished watching the Grinding Gear Games Path of Exile 2 Early Access live reveal, and the only way I can describe it is Grinding Gear Games just did a mic drop on the whole ARPG genre. With the amount of content and what we saw tonight, I have to say every other ARPG in the genre is absolutely shaking in their boots right now. It's unbelievable what we saw. Now, just to give you a flavor of the topics that were covered in the live stream by Grinding Gear Games, they talked about classes, skill gems, passive skill tree, the weapon specialization, items in the game, Ascension, how it worked, the game structure, how the game is going to be structured for early access and for the full release. There is a difference, by the way, and we're going to get into that. And also the end game. We got a lot about the end game, what it's going to entail, what the systems are that are going to be in early access. This is what was covered today. Almost 4 hours, around give or take 4 hours. Unbelievable, jaw-dropping, just crazy, just unbelievable what Grinding Gear Games has done. And the fact is that Jonathan called it since day one. He has been saying for a very long time that early access, he wants early access to feel like a full release. And boy, I can tell you one thing. If what we saw tonight is any indication of what this game is going to be, not only in early access, but even evolve to the full release, this game is going to deliver in spades. And for those of you contemplating whether or not to play early access, there should be no doubt left in your mind right now. And hopefully this video will help educate you in making that decision. Personally, in my humble opinion, it's a no-brainer after what we saw tonight. Anyway, this video is going to be a summary of the live reveal. It's not going to be a deep dive. I've made the decision that there is just so much to talk about here. I do not want to do it all in one video. That is going to be hours of videos, to be honest with you, and I don't want to make hour-long video and longer. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give, for those people that are just looking for a high level, not a deep dive, but a high level review, enough to give you a good overview of the live reveal. That's what this video is going to be. What it's not going to be is a deep dive covering every single topic and breaking out into a conversation about it and doing a deep dive. That's not going to be this video. We are going to summarize the live reveal, and then I'm going to take the next week and a half, however long it's going to take or however short, and I'm going to make videos talking about each specific area. And in those videos, I will be doing a deep dive. This is how much content we're talking about, guys. It needs the respect of that and those videos being dissected like that. I don't want to do a 2-hour video here right now. So anyway, I hope I made it clear. And by the way, there was so much content here. I took as much notes as possible while picking up my jaw every 2 seconds from what we were seeing graphically, what we were hearing, just unbelievable. So if I have missed anything, if I have said anything incorrectly, please get in the comment section and set me straight or correct me. I would appreciate it. And let me know if I missed something that you feel was important enough to be mentioned in this summary video. I would love to get your support on that. We want to make sure we're pumping up accurate information. So I could use your help. Fact check me, because we want everyone to be well informed, not ill informed. Okay, we got a lot to chew on. Let's get to it. Let's begin with the confirmation of what classes are going to be available in the early access. It was confirmed during the live stream that the following 6 classes will be available on December 6th. The Monk, the Warrior, the Ranger, the Witch, the Sorceress, and the Mercenary. Each class is designed with a unique playstyle emphasizing individuality while offering cross-class build flexibility. Classes now feel distinct, moving beyond Path of Exile 1's starting templates to offer tailored experience and more identity-driven builds. Cross-class skill gem integration ensures build flexibility, allowing players to experiment with hybrid playstyles. So now that we are aware of the 6 classes that are going to be available on December 6th, let's talk about the game structure in early access and when the game is out in full release. And there is a difference, so let me explain. So starting December 6th, the game structure is going to be as follows and as illustrated in this diagram. We will commence with Act 1, 2, and 3 in normal difficulty. Grinding Gear Games confirmed that that should take us to level 45. Once we complete Act 3 on normal difficulty, we will replay Acts 1, 2, and 3 on cruel difficulty. It's a higher level of difficulty with higher level of mobs and bosses and higher level and increased and improved drop rates, gear, weapons, all that kind of stuff. So consider it like a new game plus, as they described it in the live reveal today. So for early access only, we will replace Acts 1, 2, and 3, normal, and then cruel difficulty, and that takes us to level 65, and that's when the end game begins. And we'll talk about what end game is content is going to be available in early access. But that is the game structure for early access. That is not the game structure for the full release of the game. And as you can see illustrated here on the diagram, below early access is the release game structure. The release game structure is going to be Acts 1 to Acts 6, which will take us to level 65, give or take, when we complete Act 6. And at that level, we will enter into the end game, which takes us to level 100. So there is a difference between the two game structures. Early access will have what I described earlier, and release will have the typical 6 acts and then the end game, as we typically understand the PoE game to be like. We have the acts and then the end game. Jonathan also mentioned that he doesn't see early access being less than 6 months. And he also said, ideally, they see Path of Exile 2 releasing in 2025. He does not want it to take any longer. Okay, so we know the classes, we know the game structure. What's next? What items are going to be in the game? Well, the item system in Path of Exile 2 focuses on quality over quantity, reducing loot clutter while improving item crafting and progression. Gold is introduced as a secondary currency for respecs and gear improvement, streamlining the experience for players. Speaking of items, what are the rarity groups? Items in Path of Exile 2 will now come in 4 rarity groups: normal, magic, rare, and unique. All items are tradable. Only thing binded to your character is gold. All other items will be tradable. And one of the most exciting highlights for me tonight was the discussion around crafting. Grinding Gear Games wants crafting available to us as we play, so we can craft items throughout our campaign playthrough. They want us to find things on the ground and upgrade them more frequently. Now, you may be asking, how do we upgrade items? Well, you can upgrade items you find with the following currency items, which will have a more common drop rate than we are used to. Step 1, you can put an orb of transmutation. That will take a normal rarity item with 1 mode and upgrade it to a magic rarity. You can then apply an orb of augmentation. That will add a second mod to the item. You can then add a regal orb. That will add a third mod and upgrade the item to rare rarity item. And lastly, you can apply an exalted orb. That will add more mods to your rare item up to a maximum of 6 mods. Now, Grinding Gear Games also shared with us that you can also disenchant items to get these crafting currencies. We also learned tonight that some items can contain sockets. Yes, you heard me right. Sockets are back, but in a very different way. These sockets can be used to add more mods to your items through ruins. These ruins can help with problems you are having with your build, like resistances or damage. So you can apply these ruins if you lack resistances or need more damage. What items have sockets, you ask? Body armor and weapons can have up to 2 sockets, while other items and one-handed weapons will have 1 socket. Now, they got into a little bit more detail, more scenarios, but I'm going to leave that for another time. Grinding Gear Games also spoke about uniques and that they are especially rare, each with a unique set of mod that will dramatically change your build. The way they described it is they wanted to make unique items that you can make a whole build around. Are you still with me? Okay, up next, skill gems. Grinding Gear Games once again displayed the skill gem UI. Now, skill gems have been redesigned for greater accessibility and flexibility. The gem system now allows players to slot skills independently of gear, simplifying builds without reducing depth. Support gems remain crucial, enabling players to modify and enhance their skills dynamically. You can modify skills with added effects, making every gem combination feel unique and powerful. The new interface contains PoE's depth while streamlining usability for both new and veteran players. The new interface maintains Path of Exile's depth while streamlining usability for both new and veteran players. Now, regarding skill gems, not going to go too much into a deep dive. We've covered this in previous videos, so we're going to leave it at that, and we're going to do a future video on skill gems. All right, now for some heavy lifting. The passive skill tree. Yes, it's massive and has over 1,500 nodes. Each class in Path of Exile 2 will have the same passive tree. The only difference is the starting point depending on which class you choose. Now, in the full release, we know there's 12 classes and there are 6 starting points in the passive skill tree. Therefore, 2 classes will share the same starting point in the passive skill tree. Now, don't let this scare you. As Grinding Gear Games stated in the live stream, at its core, it's pretty simple. Okay, sure. Now, each character level you get will earn you 1 point to put into the tree. Almost all starting nodes for your character will be useful nodes, so don't worry. But if you believe you made an error, you can simply respec your tree for a little bit of gold. The tree is divided into clusters, which have similar themes, and each cluster you'll find small nodes and powerful nodes called notables, which have much more interesting bonuses. In between these nodes is the attribute highway, as Grinding Gear Games described it. Attribute nodes are very easy to use and get the specific attribute you want: int, dex, strength. You can change any attribute node for half the gold cost of a respec. In addition to notables, we will also find larger nodes called keystones. Now, these keystones contain an upside and a downside, so be careful. Skills from the keystone can be tough to build around, but can provide very rewarding builds. Ascension. Ascension offers class-specific specializations, unlocking powerful abilities and synergies. Trials serve as challenging tests to earn Ascension tiers, rewarding players with significant build advancements upon completion. It was confirmed in the live stream today that each class will have 3 ascendancies associated with it, but in early access, only 2 will be available. So how do you ascend? Ascension in Path of Exile 2 requires completion of one of the great trials, which we will find as we progress through the campaign. There are 3 great trials to choose from in Path of Exile 2, but only 2 will be available in early access. You can choose to do the same trial for Ascension or mix and match. The choice is yours. One of the trials in early access will be called the Trial of the Secamus. If you choose this trial, you will have to earn the Balboa's Barria coin, which you can take to the relic altar to begin the trial. The trial will have several tests spanning several trial rooms. You will receive a reward after completing each room, but be careful. Getting hit not only damages your character, but also reduces your armor. Lose your armor completely, and you fail the trial, requiring you to earn another coin in order to attempt the trial again. After receiving your reward, players will be given an option of how they would like to proceed, with many options like rooms full of deadly traps and monsters. Choosing your path is up to you and what obstacles you want to face, so choose wisely. But don't worry, as you progress, your character can earn boons, which will help you progress through your journey. An example given during the live stream tonight was the Secamus Cloak, which will revive you if you die, giving you a second chance upon death. Another reward you may find is sacred water, an extremely valuable resource that allows you to trade it into a merchant, which will allow you many benefits like recover armor, gain additional boons, or remove affliction. At the end of the floor, you will find a boss, which you will have to defeat in order to ascend. Once you defeat the boss, you earn the right to ascend, and you will also be able to open up chests depending on which key dropped. There are 3 key types, bronze, silver, and gold, and depending on which keys drop will determine which caches you can select to open. Each completion will provide players with 2 ascendancy points, which you can use towards ascension. The second trial available to us in early access is the Trial of Chaos, which can be found in the Val Jungle. Entry to the Trial of Chaos requires a token, only available by a stranger known as the Trial Master. If he sees potential in you, he will inscribe an ultimatum. Before you begin each chamber, the Trial Master will offer you a reward and a choice. Choose between 3 modifiers that impact the chamber's enemies or add environmental hazards in the room. After completing each room, you will be given the option to take the reward so far or go double or nothing to increase your reward. But choose wisely, as your choices will stack, providing more danger. Once you complete 3 chambers, you will come across the first boss. The bosses are random, and depending on your choices, the bosses will never feel the same. After completing the boss, you may claim your reward and the right to ascend. Let's discuss the endgame systems. There are going to be 7 distinct systems you can progress through. First one I'd like to talk about is the Atlas, which is the core of the endgame. The Atlas is infinite and expands in all directions. Corruption from the beast has blighted the land, and our objective is to help fight it. At the center of the Atlas, we will find the Ziggurat, a temple which we can open nearby portals and begin fighting corruption and find nearby resources. In order to power the portal device, we will need waystones. Each waystone has a tier determining the level of enemies we will face. Adding prefix mods to your waystones increases your rewards, and adding suffix mods increases your danger. So craft your waystones wisely. But remember, the more dangerous a map is, the more waystones drop. In order to cleanse the area of corruption, you will have to defeat all powerful, rare, and unique enemies in it. Once you have defeated them, the area will be marked as completed, and you will be able to travel past it to progress deeper into the world. If you die, the map can no longer be run, and you will have to find an alternative route to progress. There are also many random encounters players run into in the maps, like precursor artifacts, monuments that radiate, and the monsters around them are drawn to their power. And if you defeat the monsters and cleanse the artifact, you will earn a temporary buff, like increased experience or make you faster, to name a few. Players can also find strong boxes and come across areas that have frozen monsters. If you unfreeze them and defeat them, you will earn essences, which you can use to upgrade your items. Grinding Gear Games also mentioned that only 1 in 4 maps will have a map boss, and because of this, map bosses will be very powerful and very rewarding. There are also endgame systems that were revealed during the live stream. We learned of the following endgame systems that will be available in Path of Exile 2's early access: Breach, Ritual, Delirium, and Expedition. Yes, they may sound familiar, but in typical Path of Exile 2 style, the progression, monsters, bosses, and rewards are all new. The endgame will also have endgame trials. Both the Trial of Sacramus and the Trials of Chaos extend to the endgame. And so, not to turn this video into a 7-hour video, we are going to dissect this area into a standalone video. Sorry guys, there is just way too much to discuss in this topic, and I would prefer giving it the right attention. So stay tuned for a later video on this topic, which will include more endgame systems and discussions on the pinnacle bosses and all the different prongs to the Atlas tree. What a reveal. What a mouthful. Jaw-dropping, like I said. And guys, I do want to apologize. Let me know what I missed. But there are things that I did not go into. There are other things that we're going to cover in later videos. There was charms shown tonight. There was jewels. Like, there's so much minutia in the live reveal today. I did my best in this video to kind of give you a overall viewpoint of what basically was covered today. So please let me know if I missed anything major, but please know this, that we are going to be doing deep dives into some of the topics we covered in this video that require deep dives. The other thing, I wanted to mention very quickly is just the reaffirmation of the access to get into Path of Exile 2's early access. It was confirmed and demonstrated in the live stream tonight that, as we already knew, the entry point was $30 USD, and it was going all the way to $480 supporter packs. So 30 to 480 supporter packs. And again, depending on which one you chose, some of them, for example, the $30 one is the key, and store points. Now, I do want to say every single supporter pack, whatever the cost was, that value was in the pack in store points. So to me, if you're looking at it at face value, if, for example, you're getting the $30 pack, you're getting 300 store points, which is a $30 cash value. So they basically negate each other. For those of you that have a lifetime contribution to Path of Exile support in the value of $480 USD, you will be given access via an invitation from Grinding Gear Games. So you will automatically be given access to the early access. Those invitations, according to Grinding Gear Games, are going to be going out in the next several weeks. So if you have at least $480 USD in lifetime spend with Path of Exile, you already will get access. Like I said, what a mouthful. Anyway, guys, let me know your comments. Let me know your reaction. I've been talking to a lot of people, and I have not heard one bad comment yet. But I'm sure some stuff is going to come out, and people are going to complain about some things. But it's going to be interesting. This was a mic drop on the industry. Like I said in the beginning, this was a nuclear bomb. Unbelievable what they did tonight. Me and my chat were salivating the whole time. This was crazy. So I want to hear what you think. What did you think of the reveal? And I also want to hear from the people that kind of were on the fence about participating in their early access. Did this change your mind? Or maybe you were going to and you're not going to anymore. Why? I would love to hear it. And overall, what are your thoughts on how the reveal went, how it was communicated? I have to say, Grinding Gear Games does a really good job with these live reveals. They always spend more time, 99.9% of the time, the content is on the actual game and mechanics, and we're seeing it live demonstrated. It's just remarkable. I personally think this live reveal was an S tier, but I'd love to hear what you hear. And as always, thank you for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. I've done a lot of reveal videos. This was the toughest haul to put together. I hope I did you guys a good service. Please let me know. It was a tough one to put together. There's a lot of information here, and I probably missed a ton, so please let me know. Anyway, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would really, 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 really appreciate the support of my content. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. The opinions expressed in this video are mine and solely mine. Healthy debate is always encouraged. Hate is never welcomed. So get over it.